Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope y'all are having a great day, and welcome to our Mount Pleasant midweek devotional. And excited to be here tonight. Man, we had a beautiful day. I think it got up to around about 72 today with a light breeze. And I tell you what, that's my favorite kind of weather right there. I don't know about y'all. I hate that we've got rain coming in, but you know what? God apparently knows that we need some rain right now, and so we got it coming in. So if you've been praying for rain, and you know it's coming, let me know if you've been praying for it, because I might have some things that I need you to pray for as well. So, but thank you again for joining us tonight. Hope you'll enjoy this live stream devotional, and we ask that you go on it, like the devotional, share it on your page, give us comments, let us know if you enjoyed something that was said, or if you have a prayer request and you want us to be praying for something for you as a church, please drop it down in the comments. We'd love to see that. We'd love to be praying for you and believing with you. I do want to say a big thank you to everyone in our church that had been praying for Casey. Her mom, who was in the hospital yesterday, she got to go home today, and we thank God for that. She's feeling better, and they're not quite sure exactly what happened. All of her tests came back positive, and we are thankful for that. So we want to remember in prayer. We want to remember Brother Jason Arundel, who is in ICU right now, and the doctors aren't quite sure what's going on inside of his body yet. But we want to remember him and his family in prayer tonight. And as I said, if you've got a prayer request out there, if you want to drop it in the comments, we'd love to be praying for you. So with that being said, I want to go ahead and get into the Word tonight. I'm excited about what God has given me to speak on here, and hopefully you'll get something out of it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. So I'm going to start in Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 13. Now, I will tell you this, Proverbs is one of my favorite books of the Bible. I love reading it. It's easy to read. There's a lot of wisdom that can be gained out of the book of Proverbs. I mean, I know the whole Bible's full of wisdom, but especially just if you like little one-liners and quotes like that, man, Proverbs is just slap full of them. So you'll love it. So I urge you, go and read the whole book of Proverbs. It won't take you long. And like I said, it's a very easy read. So Proverbs 11, verse 13, it says, "A talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter." I'm going to read that one more time. It says, "A talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is of a faithful spirit conceals a matter." So what is a talebearer? Well, let me tell you the definition of a talebearer. A talebearer is a person who maliciously gossips, which may cause trouble or harm to others or themselves. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, there is nothing more dangerous than gossip in our lives. And I'm not just talking about gossip at work. No, I'm talking about every single part of your life. Gossip in our community, gossip at the workplace, gossip, amongst our families, but most of all, gossip inside the church. We do not want gossip inside of Mount Pleasant. I can tell you that for sure. And I will, our members will tell you this. I'm one of those type of, no drama, people. I don't like any kind of drama, and I'll attack something head on, all day, just because I don't like it. And I don't like people talking about stuff that they don't know about, especially, when it comes to people's lives and people's personal matters. So it says there, a person who maliciously gossips, which may cause trouble or harm to others and themselves. Just know that gossip isn't helping you any. Just because you've got something on somebody and you're out there putting it out, you know what? It's not going to help you whatsoever to go out and spread somebody's information, to spread their news. And you know what? Especially if somebody came up to you and they shared what was on their heart and they entrusted you with that information, and you let their information out there without their knowledge or their approval, then you know what? That's not good. And I'm even talking about stuff that people approach you with in prayer to asking, hey, can you be praying, for me about this situation? I will tell you 100%, if I have anybody tell me that they want me to be praying about a situation, I will ask their permission. Hey, can I share this with our prayer warriors at church? Or can I share this with, some people that can be praying? And if they say, no, I want to keep it between us, then, it's confidential. Go ahead and lock it up, throw away the key. I don't even tell my wife about this stuff. She gets mad at me a lot of times because I'm really good at holding stuff in and keeping things. And that comes with that pastoral role. But it comes with your role as well in any kind of situation in life. Whether it's you being a coworker to somebody, whether it's being a friend to somebody, whether it's being somebody in your family. Just know that gossip is not going to do anything but harm possibly them, and also it can harm you as well. Talebearer comes from a Greek word that means to go about. And that's what people do a lot of times. People just can't keep their mouth shut, and they want to go about spreading everybody else's business. And, I'm not sure why, because you've got your own stuff going on. And, the old saying is, before you go out, spreading everything in somebody else's closet, why don't you clean out your own closet first? And that's the way that I've always felt, and you begin to think about people that are like this, and one phrase or one, word for them that people get called is people that are loose cannons, and or they've got a loose cannon, meaning their mouth. Now, I want you to think about a cannon, and I want you to think about the phrase, a loose cannon. And you know what? If a cannon is properly anchored and it is properly attended to, it can bring victory in the midst of a battle. A cannon will. But when it is loose, it can destroy everyone around it, including the ones that it was intended to protect. So you don't want to be a loose cannon. A cannon is a tool, and it can be great when used the proper way, but when it's not, when it's loose, then it can cause destruction all around it. The same thing goes with our tongues, with our words, what we say, what we share out there. You don't want to be a loose cannon. I've said so many times, I come from a family that, we're deep into construction. My dad builds houses, and, I grew up with all these, building materials and tools and all this stuff around all the time. And, my dad's hammer is so important to him, and it means something. And if he ever left it on a job site, he would, just freak out. Hey, I got to go back and get my hammer. It was important to him because it had been with him for so many years, and he uses it constantly. But, just like that hammer is a tool, and, it can be used to, build something, or it can be used to take something apart, and it can be used for destruction. It's the same tool, but it's got two different purposes, all depending on how the person that has it in their hands is using it. And just know that your words can either build somebody up or they can tear somebody down. And I can tell you, in the world that we live in, it's so easy to tear somebody down. It's a whole lot harder to pick somebody up than it is to push somebody down. And I'm not interested in pushing anybody down tonight. Ephesians 4:29, it says, "Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." And that's what we want our words to do. We want our words to benefit the people around us, to benefit our friends, to benefit our family, to benefit the people, at the ballpark that you're around, or at, your coworkers and everybody. We want to build people up because that's what we were called to do as children of God, as servants of the Lord Most High. As we were put here to help love and build people up and to pick them up when they're down, not bury them. That's not our job. And our job's not to take their dirt and spread it all over the place either. You know what? I do things that I'm not proud of in my life. Do I want everybody knowing about them? No, not so, none so ever. I don't want everybody knowing about all my faults, all my failures, all my mistakes. And you know what? So that's on me. There are things that, that God knows that maybe nobody else knows. But you know what? Just because you got something on somebody doesn't mean you have to go out there and spread it. I can go ahead and tell you right now that stuff moves fast in Oglethorpe County. Word travels faster than your Windstream internet. I can tell you that right now, because Windstream is slow. But man, that word, man, it gets around fast, doesn't it? It gets to moving. And we've been charged with, making sure that, as a child of God, that we protect others, now, not that tear them down. James 1:26, it says, if anyone among you thinks he is religious, listen to that. If anyone among you thinks he is religious and does not bridle his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this one's religion is useless. And you know what? You can think, I go to church every Sunday. I go to church every Wednesday. I'm doing all this. I'm doing that. I'm going out on mission work. And, I'm going and helping the homeless and feeding the hungry and all this stuff. You know what? If what's coming out of your mouth doesn't proceed from the Word of God and it's tearing people down, everything you're doing doesn't make a difference. Because people, what they're doing is a lot of times, they're watching what you say. And I know that you can say actions speak louder than words. Yes, in some cases that's necessary. But you know what? People are listening to what you're saying as well. And you can be doing one thing and saying another. And if you're not practicing what you're preaching, then you know what? It doesn't mean a hill of beans, what you're saying. It doesn't. And so that's why we have to constantly, be in a set place. Just like I talked about that cannon being anchored in the ground, we have to be anchored in that foundation of Jesus Christ. And we have to be mindful of not only ourselves, but mindful of others and mindful of their information and mindful of their needs and, what God wants to do in their life. Proverbs 16:28, it says, a perverse man sows strife, and a whisperer separates the best of friends. I can tell you right now, gossip will kill a friendship. It will kill a relationship quicker than anything that I've ever seen. It causes so much strife and so much destruction. And you know what? We don't need that in Mount Pleasant. We don't need that in our church. I can go ahead and tell you that right now, that I'm a no-nonsense kind of person when it comes to that kind of matters. But you know what? We don't need that in the church as a whole. We need to be loving on one another. We need to be there for one another. And if somebody confides in you with something, you know what? That even more so means that, you were entrusted with that information, and you need to be mindful of that. Don't go home and tell your husband just because he's married to you. Don't go home and tell your wife just because she's married. Don't tell your kids or anything like that. No, they've entrusted you with that information. So, you know what? Unless they gave you permission to go tell somebody else, it's not your business. Okay? Just because they told you their business doesn't mean it's your business. It's not. Okay? But also, on the other hand, when you hear about something that happened and you go and tell somebody else, and you can always, you know what I'm talking about, guess what I just heard, or, you know what, well, I heard him say this, or, things like that. When you hear somebody say that, you know what, just go ahead and stop and be like, you know what, it's not any of my business. It's okay. I don't need to know. And, so many bad things come from this. So many, friendships get lost over people talking about stuff. And honestly, a lot of it, comes down to, there might not have even been any truth in it. But the fact that you put it out there for everybody, you know what? That just, it messed it all up. And so it's definitely so important that we're mindful of the words that we're using, the information that we're putting out there. Psalms 19:14, I'm going to read this verse to close out tonight. It says, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight. When I begin to think about that, when it says in the meditation of my heart, when you talk about meditating on something, that means that, sometimes you slow down, you stop what you're doing, you close your eyes, and you get real still, and you just think for a second. You just meditate on something. And you know what? If we did that before we spoke a lot of times, it would keep us out of a lot of trouble. It would save us from ourselves a lot of times. So think about what you're going to say before you say it. And if it's not something that's building up or helpful, then don't say it. I begin to think about, when I was a kid, we always watched the movie Bambi back in the day. And Bambi had a friend named Thumper. And Thumper was a little bunny. And Thumper's mom told him, she said, you know what, if you don't have anything, or if you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything at all. But you know what? I began to think about that. We've all got something nice that we can say. So stop holding back the nice things and just saying nothing. Don't do that either. Be there for people. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you're praying for them. Let them know that you care. But let them know also that, you're not going to just go out and spread their information all over the place for everybody to see. There's so many things that I see on Facebook and social media that I'm like, we didn't need to know all that. Nobody needed to know all that. Now, if you wanted to confide in somebody to be praying about a situation, that's different. But don't put all your dirty laundry and all this stuff out there for everybody to see. Nobody needs to see that. Let the words of your mouth and the meditation of your heart be acceptable. Before you go and say something, why don't you just stop for a second and you say, you know what? How would Jesus feel about me saying this? If he was standing right here beside me, how would I feel? Would I even say what I'm about to say? Well, guess what? He is right there beside you. And so next time you think about that, say, you know what? I probably don't need to say this because, God's not going to be happy with me, if I go out and, let this information out that's been entrusted with me. So you know what? We don't need to be as concerned about the gossip as we are the gospel, because there's a difference in gossip and gospel. Gossip, it just destroys. The gospel, that's the truth. And that's what we need. If you want to go out there and spread something, spread the gospel. Don't spread the gossip. So I am going to sing a song real quick. And I hope you've enjoyed the message tonight. If you have, like I said, share it on your page with your family and friends. And spread it. Spread this devotional. If you want to spread something, don't spread the bad stuff. Spread this kind of stuff. This is good stuff. And you know what? Our world will be a better place because of that. And as I said, if you've got a prayer request, if you don't mind us knowing about it, put it down in the comments, and we'd love to be praying for you and inside your situation. So y'all worship with me tonight. I seek you, the more I find you, the more I find you, the more I love you. I want to sit at your feet, drink from the cup in your hands, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. This love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I melt in your peace, it's overwhelming. The more I see won't I find you? Lord, I love you. I wanna sit at your feet, drink from the cup in your hands, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. This love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I melt in your peace, it's overwhelming. Amen. Thank you for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the word. Hope you enjoyed the worship song, and I hope you have a blessed rest of the week. If you don't have a home church, we'd love to have you come join us at Mount Pleasant. That's 1244 Comer Road, and that's Crawford, Georgia, 30630. And we start at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. We'd love for you to come be a part of our family, and we'd love to welcome you home. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of the week, and I'll see y'all next time. I love y'all.